Hi, this is David McCann for WebTNG. In this video, I'm looking at SureDash. SureDash is a new plugin from Brainstorm Force, the makers of the Astra theme, Spectra, and the Sure line of products. SureDash is a plugin that allows you to create a membership dashboard in your WordPress website. It also allows you to set up and offer courses. It's fairly easy to monetize access to your dashboard and or to your courses. What we're going to do in this video is a more or less complete walkthrough installing SureDash, and then we're going to use two other products. We're going to use SureMembers, which is a plugin to restrict access to parts of your website and allow access to certain user groups. And then we're also going to look at SureCart, which is a plugin and platform for e-commerce. And SureCart has integration with SureMembers. SureMembers has an integration with SureDash, so you get the idea. That means, though, this is going to be a fairly long video. Basically, we want to get a wireframe of things so that you can see how the different pieces fit together. And at the end of the video, we'll have some discussion and conclusions. And on the WebTNG website, in a companion article for this video, I'll have the outline of the steps that I took so you can just see what comes first, what comes next in setting up and monetizing your dashboard. This is the SureDash website here. You'll note that it says it's currently in beta. It hasn't gotten to a 1.0 production release yet. They are on their third and fourth release candidates. So I think it's getting close, and what you see in this video I think will apply to the final released version. They do have still lifetime pricing. There's one site for $199, 10 sites for $299, and 100 sites for $499. We need to go to the bottom here to find the knowledge base. There are some articles here which are useful. However, there isn't a step-by-step how you integrate with SureMembers, how you monetize using SureCart. So I'm hoping this video fills a gap for people. Now I have here a test website, and I've done a few things here to prepare for the video. The idea in this video is that someone is a birding enthusiast and they're going to sell courses to teach people about birds, but also about bird photography and about bird ID. That's the idea for this dashboard and the courses we're going to offer. I'm using here the Spectra 1 theme. That's a block-based theme from Brainstorm Force. It's performant and easy to set up and use. I've added a logo here. If we go and look in the admin, I've done a few other things. I have a bunch of demo posts. I don't know that we're going to use those, but I have them on my demo sites. I have some pages here about contact and portal home that I set up. These are all blank pages, okay? We're going to use maybe some of them, like this one, portal home, in the video. I've got installed SureCart, the plugin. This helps you connect to the online platform. I've got the free version of SureDash installed but not activated. The pro version of SureDash installed but not activated. You see this red warning here. This basically what they're saying is that you have to have the free version activated first. Then there's SureMembers, and I've got WP Vivid, which I use to refresh the site between testing cycles. Let's begin. We will activate the free version. We go into a wizard, but we're just going to go back you can get back to that wizard. We're going to go and activate also the Pro version. When you activate SureDash, you get this area in the admin. There's a dashboard, there's a place for spaces, a place for posts for your dashboard, a settings, and a place where you can customize your community portal. I'm going to go to settings. We get the guided tour here for a setup. My portal is Learn About Birds, and we're going to make it a private community, which means that people have to be logged in order to access it. And then we're going to enable feeds, which show the posts and the different community spaces you create. It's saying monetize with SureCart, flawlessly workflows with AutoKit. We're going to turn these off now because we are going to turn those on when we're ready for them. Now it wants to set up, get some stats and sign us up for their email newsletter, which we're going to skip. All right, so here we are. This is the information dashboard. You'll notice you have dashboard, spaces, posts, settings, same across the top here. This is what I was talking about where we're on the release candidates. Advertisement or options to activate different companion plugins, links to support and the Facebook community, some stats here. Okay, then spaces, this is where you create the groups. A group is kind of like a topic area, and we'll be coming back here to create groups. And once you create a group, then you can create spaces inside of those. So we'll see what that's about. This is where you create posts for your community spaces, and we'll be doing that as well. And then here are the settings. You'll notice that these are some of the things we did in that starting wizard. Learn about birds. This is what the default font is for our theme. We'll hide the SureDash branding. Okay, community, we made it private. Now this set as a home page is a interesting idea because if you aren't going to have other sections of the website and you just want to have a portal or a dashboard and offer courses without blog articles and other functionality on the site, you can set your portal as the home page. And that's an interesting idea, which I think some people will want to do. We won't do that right now. Enable Lightbox for images, enable feeds, okay. Login and registration. SureDash lets your members use Google or Facebook accounts to log in, and you can set up reCAPTCHA to protect the forms. You can change the labels on the text. For example, you might want to say hello instead of howdy. Here you can select your homepage, and this isn't the site homepage, this is your dashboard homepage, the login page for people, and the registration page for people. Now, interesting, see portal login, portal registration. Well, if we go back and look at the pages, you'll note that when we activated SureDash, it created these pages for us. So that's there, and we'll set portal home will be our home page for our dashboard. Comments, if you want to use Giphy, some meme reaction type things. Performance, the more items you have in the feed could affect performance. How big the images are that people can upload. I think 2 megabytes is a lot. Bypass WordPress interactions. Then this is for the user, their profile menu. When a user, as we'll see, is in the dashboard, there's a link, a little card that has their avatar if they set one up. When they are on the dashboard, they can bookmark certain things, and there's a logout link. You can add, in other words, other links to the profile menu, like if you want to have an account page or something. Okay, user roles. When SureDash was created, also created the SureDash user role. So it's saying new registered users will get this role. And then these people are the managers. Then this allows you to customize the email if someone forgets their password. And this is where I enter my license key. So I'll pause the video and put the license key in there. Okay, so I've activated the license key here. And now the final menu item in the SureDash admin area is Community Portal. And what this does, this isn't taking you to the Community Portal. This is actually taking you into the site editor. And this works even if you're using a classic traditional WordPress theme like Astra or Cadence or any of the others, because you can enable a hybrid mode. So this allows you to customize the layout of your portal. We'll come back and take a look at that also as we do our setup. Okay, you see we're in the site editor there. So the first step of what I want to do now is we want to create a wireframe for our portal. So we'll start by adding some groups and spaces. First one we'll call welcome. You can hide the label if you want. Okay, and here you can edit or you can trash it. Okay, and so this is our group, and now we're going to add some spaces. And our first space is going to be introduce yourself. And you can set an icon for that. So let's see. We'll choose this hand. Oh, let's do the handshake. Okay. Then we have an option where you decide what type of space this will be. It can be a single page or post, which you can use, for example, if you want to have a booking form or you want to have an information page. You can have a course space, a discussion space, a space that has an external link. And then these are types of spaces they're working on. There's a video playlist, an event, form, booking, resource, and collection. So that gives you an idea of the types of things that are coming for SureDash. This for us is going to be a discussion group or area. Then you set up images for it. It gives you the sizes of the image of the thumbnail and the banner image. You set the width that you want the space to be, whether you want the content to be full or the excerpt. And if you want a pinned post, then you select the post. We'll have to create one. Then allow members to post and make the discussion private. This is for if you're just having discussions between the admin or portal manager and members. Got some images in the media library. So let's see if we find the right ones. We want the thumbnail, okay? And then this one we'll pick the banner and we'll publish. Okay, and now we need to create a post for here, so we'll create a post, and this one will be welcome to All About Birds. This is the place to share and learn about birds. Please introduce yourself. This is just the Gutenberg editor, right? You have your document outline here, your list of blocks there, okay? Let's set a featured image. Here we go, featured image. Okay, so we'll publish that. This is like a pop-up here, so we're going to close that. And we want to set the pinned post, because when people go into the space, they might not see anything if there's not a pinned post. As we'll see, welcome to All About Birds. Okay, so we'll save this. And now let's go to the dashboard here and visit the portal. And this is what we have so far. This is the kind of thing I'm talking about, where if you don't have some content there, then you won't see anything. This is actually that home page for the portal, so we'll need to add content to that. But here is our introduce yourself area. So this is what the portal looks like by default. You see it tells you what space you're in, and you can set up a menu. There is a notification icon. This is telling us there's been a new post. You can post yourself because we've enabled that. It's a pinned post. Users can bookmark it. They can like it. They can reply. They can share. Here, the search, the feeds, these are your groups are going to show here. And then the user profile shows down here. Remember, we have the options for profile, bookmarks, and log out. Those were the 3 links that we had set up. And this is what the profile looks like. Now, because SureDash has in the profile the ability for the user to change their password, which is very nice, that means then that we don't really need to allow our users back into the admin. So when we get to SureMembers has the option to hide the admin bar from users. People can upload their avatar here, a background image. You enter your first and last name and a bio. All right, so we've got our first space set up. There's a link here to go back to the SureDash admin area, which is nice. Let's go back to spaces. Let's add another space in this first area. And this new space will be local bird sightings, so people can tell if they saw some interesting birds. And let's look for a bird, maybe. It's the icon. And we want this to be a discussion area also. We'll do the thumbnail setup. So let's see, bird sightings. Here we go. And the banner. We want to be full in the feed there. We don't have a pinned post yet. We want to allow members to post. Publish this. And now let's add an introductory post. We'll do this as, have you seen any interesting birds? We'll add the featured image for this as well. Okay, so we'll publish that. Now let's set that as our pinned post and save. All right, so let's go back to our portal, and we have our first group in space set up. So this is the one we just created. Let's go ahead though and do this portal start homepage. Okay, so we'll go to pages, portal home. I'm going to hide the title in the post. And we'll add a featured image. And save. Now let's go back to our portal and see if that's working. It's not showing the featured image there. I'm not sure why that is. This is a release candidate though, so perhaps the image I picked was too large or something. There are the feeds. You see the posts that are there. Then now let's go and create our second group. This one will be for our courses. So we'll go to Spaces, and this time we'll add a new group, and this will be called Birding Courses. Okay, and we'll add our first space, or our first course will be Bird Identification, and this is going to be a course, and we'll use the bird icon again. Okay, and we'll create the space. And now we set up our sections and lessons. This is where you go back. We upload again our thumbnail and banner image. So let's see, this is the banner. This is thumbnail. Okay, so there's the thumbnail and the banner. And then our first section will be called, let's call it First Steps. Okay, and then we'll add our first lesson, which will be 10 common backyard birds. Okay, set the lesson duration. This would be, if it's a video, you would say how long it's going to be. Let's just say 25 minutes. All right, and then you can set a featured image. Let's go and find the featured image. All right, and we'll add some text. Okay, and then we'll add a link to a video. I'm just going to add a YouTube video that I got a link for. SureDash does have an integration with Presto Player, which is a very nice video player from the same team. So that might be something that you would like to use. So we'll publish, and that's kind of our lesson there. Let's publish. Okay, now let's go back to Spaces, and let's add a second course. Okay, and this one will be called Bird Photography. And let's do a camera. And so we'll say this first section will be called Learn Your Equipment. And we'll get our thumbnail. Okay, and our banner. We'll publish this. We'll add our lesson, how to pick a camera. We'll say the lesson duration is 20 minutes, and we'll set a featured image, and then we'll add another kind of random YouTube video just as like a placeholder. All right, and we'll publish this. Save. Let's go and take a look at our portal. So we have our landing page, we have our feed, we have our discussion area, and we have our courses. When you have a course, you have this area here. Once you click to start the course, then you have a list of the sections and lessons on the left here, which is nice, so you can see your progress. After you're done, you can complete and go to the next lesson. Okay, so this is the wireframe of our community. So now let's go back to the dashboard and let's customize this a little bit, like this menu, and just to show you what's possible. We'll go to the dashboard, we'll go to Community Portal. We want to customize this. I'm going to open another window here, another tab. We'll go to the site editor, and here we have our header. So I'm going to edit that. And just because we can, I'm going to show you how flexible it is that this is in the site editor. I'm going to go here and we'll add above, and now we will paste, and we get our site header inside of our dashboard. So what that means is now we don't need that menu, so we'll delete that. Okay, and maybe instead what we'll add here is we will move that search then into that area. And then these menu items, let's just edit this one and we'll change it to say portal. This is the site editor, not SureDash. And our link into the portal, let me grab that. So we'll put that in there. Okay, and let's save. Let's actually come back. I should have done that when we were here, so I wouldn't have to do it twice. We'll put this on the, should have done that before I copied. Save. All right, now let's go to the front end of the site. Here's our menu for portal. And now we are in the portal, but we have the same header that we had on the home page. Actually, let's make this kind of full width so it matches. Let's go back here. And this row, full width. Okay, and save. Let's refresh. All right, so there's our wireframe of our portal. Now, the next step, what we want to do is we want to make these courses something people pay for. So anyone who becomes a member of the site can see the discussion areas, but only people who pay can see the courses. To do that, we'll go to our plugins area. And now let's turn on SureMembers. When we do that, we get a admin area. There's access groups and settings. Let's look at settings first. So we have admin settings, display SureMember icon on the block editor, restrict content and search results. That seems like a good idea. User roles to decline admin access, and assign access groups to new registrants. Okay, so we want to create our user roles. SureDash has created SureDash user. Let's create one though for our SureDash courses. Now, if we go back to admin settings, user roles to decline admin access, this is going to hide the admin menu for these roles, so we'll hide it for these two roles. Then assign the access group for new registrations. Well, we don't have an access group yet. So here is where you create access groups. So our first access group is going to be for free members. I'm not going to set any protected content because we've done that with SureDash. We said that the people have to be a member of the site in order to see the dashboard, and we don't need any downloads there. But what we want to do is if someone comes to the home page of the site and they're not a member, let's set a message for them, and the message will say the dashboard is for site members only. And then we will say join now. And the URL is going to be the portal registration page, okay, that SureDash set up for us. You can enable a login button there if, say, your users haven't logged in yet, but they are signed up. You can set an expiration for the access group, and you can have the roles for an access group. So this is going to be SureDash user, and a priority says higher priority will be executed first. We may need to change this, but we'll go with that now. Okay, there's our first group. Now let's go back and let's add another group, and this is going to be for paid members. And now the content we want to protect. Okay, all posts, all categories, archives, all tag archives, all pages, all portal spaces, all portal groups. That doesn't set for us yet. So let's do specific pages, posts, taxonomies, etc. And then let's search for course, all singulars for birding courses. So we will then have a message, courses are for paid members only. The button text will be register, and the URL now, we don't have that yet. We'll need the URL for our SureCart page. So right now we're just going to take them to the home page, but we'll need to come back to change that. And we'll enable the login button. Okay, and we'll save this access group. Now let's go back to settings. Assign access group to new registrants. It's going to be the free members. Then we've created user roles, redirection rules, login redirect. Well, we want to redirect them to the portal. Those are to pages. I think what we want to do is grab this URL and put that in there. Okay, and then log out, redirect. Let's take them to the home page. Okay, and we'll save. Okay, here you can now customize your colors and width and logo. Okay, you can set login restrictions. So for example, you might want to allow users to only have one login. We're not going to use that yet. Text labels, if you want to customize that. Email templates, you can customize those. You can import and export your settings, put in your licensing. So at this point, if we're working correctly, someone who's just registered for the site can access these areas, but only people with the paid membership can access these. Let's test this out. I'm going to go to a new browser. So this is Firefox here, and let's see if we refresh. Here's the portal link. Okay, so someone not logged in goes to the portal. They see portal login. Perfect. So let's see if they can sign up now. Oh, note that there's no ability to register. This is actually a fairly common issue, and it's easy to fix. In the general settings, you need to enable registration. So we'll turn that on. We'll go back to Firefox now and refresh. All right, so now we will register. The name will be, let's see, Pippa. The email will be pippa@example.com. And we'll put in Pippa's password and we'll sign up. We're in. Let's go to the portal. And now we are in. We see the portal. Excellent. We can see here, so that's good. Can we see the bird courses? Restricted content. Awesome. So that's working. So the next and final stage is we need to set up SureCart to take payments. So let's do that now. We'll go to plugins and we'll activate SureCart. Okay, now SureCart is there are two parts to SureCart. There's a plugin with settings on your local that give you access to some information. Okay, and then there is an online version, which is your store that you've set up. This is the online part here. I've set up a test store called Membership Site. You see it's in test mode. Going through all of these settings, how to set up SureCart is a little bit beyond what we can do in this video, but I'll just show you, look at a few of the screens here. Here's the URL to the local site. I'm so happy that SureCart works with localhost because, that enables for testing and development. Okay, you set up your currency and language and time zone. Clear test data. You can transfer your store to another SureCart user or account. You can delete the store. Okay, this is the, your overview. These are your reports. You set up your payment processor. I set up a test processor, which is basically saying the person's going to pay you cash. And so you're going to need to go in and manually say the person paid. So that'll be an extra step for us during testing, but I don't want to set up one of the actual payment processors. Then these are the people who can manage your store. These are the emails. You can customize those. It's the emails that go out to customers. Generate invoices. This is a template for the invoices. Notifications, imports, exports, webhooks. You can set up webhooks for integrations to all kinds of platforms. And then API, this is how we can connect our store. So there's public token and secret token. I'm going to copy the secret token. It will be blurred out, but then we can go back to our All About Birds site, and it says, the first thing you have to do is you have to connect the local site to your online store. So I'm going to enter that secret token here and save. Now we can go to settings, and we should see, I think it's importing our store settings here. There we go. All right, so you see it's got that information like the name and the currency. It's imported that information from the online dashboard. And now, though, you see there are a lot more options here for us. For example, this is where we can see the orders. This is where we can set up products and so on. Here is something I was playing with. Here is the paid membership. So let's show how that's set up. I gave it a name, a description. It's a one-time payment, and I set the price. We can add an image. This will show when people buy. You can design your content. You can have a quantity, variance, downloads, licensing, put in information for a search engine. You can add user roles to WordPress. Let's remove these integrations and we'll add them again because this is an important step. Okay, so we'll add a new integration, and these are the integrations. You can see that SureCart has integrations for LearnDash and Lifter, Tutor LMS, add WordPress user roles, MemberPress, SureMembers, BuddyBoss. If you're using LearnDash, Lifter LMS, or Tutor LMS, you can integrate those with SureDash. But I want to add the user role that we set up. This might not strictly be necessary, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to add the user role. Okay, and then I want to add another integration, which is if we go to the very bottom, the SureMembers integration. Remember that there was that paid member access group. So let's add that. All right, and now let's save. You can go into the site editor. I'm just going to switch to another window here and show you. We're not going to do this, but just to show you that when you enable SureCart, you can create your own checkout pages, your own customer dashboard pages and things, okay? So you can do that in the site editor. Pretty cool if you want to create your own checkout pages. But it also has this instant checkout option, which is a pre-configured checkout page. And we have the options. It's published. You can set up a test mode. I don't have a store logo set up. You can show the product image and product descriptions. We have those set up. We don't use a coupon. I haven't set up terms and conditions or a custom thank you page. Now we will want this. Remember, we want to add to SureMembers the link for payment. So I'll copy that and we'll save. Okay, and we'll go now to SureMembers access groups. And in this paid members one, we wanted the button URL for the register link. Okay, and let's go down. Yeah, let's add the user role here. And we'll give this a priority of 4 and save that. Okay, so we're getting pretty close now to having everything working. I'm going to open up Firefox now. Let's go, I want to create a new user because this was a test user I used before and I want to make sure. And let's sign up. Okay, this user will be Sam at example.com. We'll put in Sam's password and sign up. All right, we'll go to the portal. Again, we should be able to see these groups, but this should give us a block. Okay, so now we can register for the course. So let's try that. Okay, this is looking good. We've gotten the SureCart product, instant cart, instant checkout. It's filled in the information for us. We're going to use this cash on delivery option to test. So we'll purchase. Okay. That sound you heard was me getting an email saying I got an order. So it's processing here. That's because we're using this manual payment, direct payment as a way of testing payment. Let's go back now to SureCart and find the order. See if we can find Sam's order. Okay, here's Sam's order and it's processing. So let's go into that and let's mark it as paid. All right, so Sam is now a paid member. Let's go back to Firefox now. Go back home. We'll go to the portal. And moment of truth. We're into the courses. We've done the walkthrough creating a wireframe portal with discussion spaces and courses. And we've used SureMembers to restrict content. And we've used SureCart, to simulate taking payment. So you kind of have more or less the flow from beginning to end. I'm sure there are refinements, like we didn't always have the redirect go directly into the portal, things like that. We probably could have set up. So I think this is a good overview of SureDash and how to set things up. So now let's have some discussion and conclusions, and I can share my take on SureDash. From a distance, it seems like SureDash has a bit of an identity question. Portal, dashboard, community. Is SureDash a community plugin like BuddyBoss, BuddyPress, and Fluent Community? Does it aspire to be a circle-like experience? Or is SureDash aiming to be something else? I'm going to suggest that we think of it, at least for now, as a member dashboard with courses. And I have 2 reasons for this view. First, I remember back when Presto Player was launched. Adam Preisler, the co-founder for SureDash and founder of Presto Player, at the time lamented that there wasn't a simple course system in WordPress. In retrospect, I think even back then, he was thinking of creating a solution like SureDash. Most of the WordPress learning management systems, i.e. course options, get complicated very quickly. But many creators don't need that. We need a solution that's straightforward and easy for members to use. It's clear that SureDash is trying to hit that target. Note that SureDash uses simple WordPress and the features of the WordPress platform, like user roles, custom post types, the site editor, and so on. The SureDash team is intentionally building on WordPress strengths, and that in turn is a strength of SureDash. Second, I think the goal is to provide more of a member dashboard than a full-blown community. Social media platforms have become popular, and people have come to expect all of the bells and whistles when it comes to the community experience. However, tracking a large number of user interactions, states, and notifications doesn't really scale that well with WordPress, especially when the number of users online simultaneously increases. Of course, some people do want or need a full-blown community, but many professionals need to take care of business. It seems like the SureDash goal is to provide enough of a community experience to allow course creators and coaches to have the tools available to share their expertise, for developers to interact with their customers, for agencies to communicate and provide resources for their clients, and so on, but not to build another Facebook, Circle, or LinkedIn. As we saw, SureDash integrates with other plugins in the Brainstorm Force Sure lineup. That means users don't have to wait for the SureDash developers to create all of the features just for SureDash, but instead users can leverage integrations with SureCart, SureMembers, Presto Player, SureForms, and so on. But also, because it's straight WordPress, users aren't tied to any one product or line of products. It's pretty open. I think the main con of SureDash today is that it's at version 1. It's new. The user interface could still use some refinement, and it's going to need time for roadmap features and user feedback to help it grow. Out of the gate, though, it looks like it's already a good option for course creators. I imagine over time more targeted use cases will be developed, and SureDash will become a popular choice like other Brainstorm Force Sure products. So that's my walkthrough and look at building a member dashboard with courses using SureDash, SureMembers, and SureCart. I hope you found this look at SureDash together with those integrations useful and helpful. If you did, please give the video a like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.